Ever heard of Charlemagne? We often picture him as the great unifier, the father of Europe, but there's a much darker, bloodier side to his story, one that involves a 30-year war against a people who refused to bow down to Saxons. This isn't just a tale of conquest, it's a story of fierce resistance against forced conversion, a crusade that left a permanent scar on the history of Europe. The Saxons were a proud, pagan Germanic people living in what is now northern Germany. They worshipped gods like Woden and Thor, and their sacred sites, like the Irminsul, a giant pillar, were central to their identity. For them, their faith was intertwined with their freedom. When Charlemagne and his powerful Frankish Empire arrived, they didn't just bring soldiers, they brought priests. Their goal wasn't just to conquer land, but to conquer souls. This ignited the Saxon Wars, a brutal conflict that spanned over 3 decades, from 770 to 804. It was a relentless guerrilla war. The Franks would invade, burn villages, and force baptisms. And as soon as their armies left, the Saxons, led by the legendary chieftain Widukind, would rise up again. They'd raid Frankish territory, attack churches, and undo the forced conversions. It was a cycle of violence and rebellion. The Saxons weren't just fighting for their homes, they were fighting for their very way of life, for the right to believe as their ancestors had. Charlemagne, a devout Christian, saw this resistance not just as rebellion, but as a direct challenge to God's will. He was determined to bring the Saxons into the Christian fold, by any means necessary. This led to some incredibly harsh laws. The Capitulatio de Partibus Saxoniae, for instance, made pagan practices punishable by death. Refusing baptism, death. Cremating the dead according to pagan custom, death. This wasn't a gentle mission of spreading the word. It was conversion at the point of a sword. The conflict reached its terrifying peak in 782 at the Massacre of Verden. After another Saxon uprising led by Widukind destroyed a Frankish army, Charlemagne retaliated with shocking brutality. According to historical accounts, he ordered the beheading of 4,500 Saxon prisoners in a single day. Imagine the scene: a riverbank, thousands of captured warriors, and a king determined to make an example of them. The Massacre of Verden stands as a chilling testament to the length Charlemagne would go to enforce his religious and political authority. It was an act of terror designed to break the Saxon spirit once and for all. But even this horrific event didn't end the war. The resistance continued for another 2 decades. Eventually, though, the relentless pressure was too much. Widukind himself finally surrendered and was baptized in 785, a huge symbolic victory for Charlemagne. The final Saxon resistance was crushed by 804. Charlemagne's campaign was a success. The Saxons were subdued and incorporated into his Christian empire. But the cost was immense. The legacy of the Saxon Wars is complex. On one hand, it was a crucial step in the formation of what would become Germany and the consolidation of Christian Europe. Charlemagne's empire brought a degree of stability and laid the groundwork for the medieval world. But on the other hand, it's a dark chapter in the history of Christian expansion. It reminds us that the spread of faith hasn't always been peaceful. It was often a violent, coercive process that wiped out entire cultures and belief systems. So when we think of Charlemagne, the father of Europe, it's important to remember the blood that was shed to build his empire. The story of the Saxons is a powerful reminder of the human cost of religious fanaticism and the enduring power of people fighting for their freedom. Thanks for watching. If you found this dive into the darker side of history interesting, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more stories that challenge what you thought you knew. See you next time.